Howdy, my name is Ashley, and today I'm going to talk to you about Everwood Creek Park. This monarch butterfly project was to survey and identify plants hosted by pollinators in the Creek Park. This park is located in College Station. It is frequented by visitors, so for people who want to bring their pets, their family, and their friends and survey the wilderness. There are lots of domesticated plants that are planted here, as well as wild and natural plants that live in the park. And we will discuss this further in just a moment. There were 2 members in our group. We divided and conquered the work. So for our project, we had to again identify native plants to the park that pollinators would host and feed on. We found the milkweed was the most common native plant at this park. So for our project, we had to map the park and its different locations and different trails. We had to identify the different species on the said map that we were to create. We also had to deliver this information to Dr. Coates. No other information was provided, and nothing else was really required for the project. So the 10 of us created a group meet, and what we would do is we'd communicate whenever documents were due, when deadlines were due, and what was expected of each other. So several group members took it upon themselves to create the map for the Lick Creek Park. We identified that the milkweed, which is pictured in this slide, is the main pollinator found in the park. So it was frequent throughout the park and the several trails that you can see within them. In a moment, I will further discuss the different and various trails that were in there and the different species of plants and pollinators that were there. But for now, I'll discuss the process of building the map. So once we had, I think this was found online by one of the group members, we went through and chose which trails we would go down ourselves and take pictures and survey and collect data. We were able to use GPS markers as well in order to locate exactly on the map where the photos were taken to include with our data. We had people assigned to identifying the plants and pollinators, as well as people to identifying the trails and who would go down that trail. We worked, as I said earlier, collaboratively in our group, and we also had a Google document to utilize. So probably the hardest part of the project was identifying the different wildflowers and plants within the park. Luckily, the sign was located outside of the park and includes the different species that were there, at least the most frequented ones, and the pollinators would feed off of. So this was crucial when we eventually started our presentation in order to submit for a grade. So probably the hardest part. The long-term goal of our project was to identify the importance of mapping and what it does for monarchs. So essentially what this slide is saying is it talks about how scientists will map out certain regions of parks, like Lick Creek, or other parks in other regions in other states and territories. Basically, they survey the area, they see what species are struggling, and which are thriving. They seek to find balance in order to attract more monarchs and help them in their processes of travel and migrating, as well as reproduction. A lot of these pollinators are crucial for that, and without these species would cease to exist. So scientists play a crucial role when they do this. So we tried mimicking this ourselves with our group. But for this project, we had several short-term goals. One of them was to complete each assignment we were given. So, for example, I was assigned to go to the Iron Bridge Trail. I needed to give a description of the trail, obtain pictures, identify plants, and explain the overall diversity and placement of said plants. Other members were tasked with identifying plants alone, but we did work collaboratively in our presentation. This helped us work together and get the project faster. But other short-term goals included just teamwork and collaboration in the sense of getting and obtaining different locations that we could use, comparing and contrasting them. Overall, though, most of the work was divided and shared evenly. So for this project, as for meeting our goals throughout the project, we wanted to continue the high amounts of collaboration we had in the beginning. In order to do this, we took 3 separate trips to Wolf Creek Park with 3 different groups, with the dates listed. Again, as said in the previous slide, we obtained pictures, videos, in order to identify different plants and different species. We did mapping as well. This allowed us to have a great understanding of what the purpose of our project was. It gave us a greater understanding of the park, and it helped us shape our long-term goal, which I'll discuss here in a moment. But essentially, by dividing the group and taking 3 separate days, we were able to knock out the different trails, which will be discussed further in this presentation. But this allowed the medium-term goals of just collaboration, teamwork, and finishing the project. As for medium, for our long-term goal, we had discussed, because we did a research, did the mapping like many scientists would do, we thought we would share information with the locals who are in charge of the park. Perhaps they would choose to utilize this information. So we made sure we collected truly valuable data and tried to be specific as possible. We didn't want to lack or inconsistency of some species, and so we included this in our email that we sent to the officials. But we did see that we needed to benefit the monarch population in our area. Of course, when we did go to the park, and due to the scheduling of this project, it was later in the semester when time, temperature, weather, etc. was not ideal for monarchs. We actually did not see, at least on November 7th, the day I went, we did not see any insects or other arthropods that would be there. So it was truly just focusing on the surveying of different plants and their different abilities and purposes and numbers. So after we shared that information, we've yet to hear back, but I'm hoping that they will find the information useful, and if not, it was still an interesting and very important. So in the future, I think to make this project better, more cohesive and more organized, having it earlier in the semester, at least for this specific project, so not only could the pollinators be surveyed, we could see the different types like bees versus butterflies, which ones are more frequent and more prevalent, and then from there specify which species are the most common. Would be rather useful to this project, especially in relation to our long-term goal, which was to share this information with the park officials, or for them to utilize the information. I think in addition to that, just because we went so late in the autumn, the plants, most of them were in hibernation or were dead, or very few. There was not as much diversity and life within the park. So I would add that as well. And then I think with that being corrected, we could also see many different plants, like which ones were the most preferred by which pollinators. There's lots of different ways you can take that information and then provide it to the park officials. However, I know a lot of the planning and implementation of this project, the TAs and the professor did the very best with what they were given, and the students did their best with what they were given. So overall, I was pleased with our project and completing everything in the time that we did, and all of the intense work and hours that went into it. So thanks for listening.